Hey guys, it's Average and welcome back to the channel, and today we're at Headcorn in England to test out Flight Replicas Spitfire Mk1. But it's not just a Mk1, we get a Mk1a, a Mk1 LR, long range, and a Mk2. So we get 4 whole Spitfires in one pack for $19/15, 16 euros, pounds, ballpark that. Exclusively on the marketplace, and there's a 2-seater Spitfire trainer behind us at the scenery here. This is Burning Blue's Headcorn. You can get this on all Becks, of course. And we're going to take this girl for a spin today. Now, of course, I cannot review this without comparing this. I paid for this myself, without directly comparing it to Flying Iron Spitfire, which is a Mark V, of course. But the Spitfire, 20,000 plus were built between 1938 and 1948. 10-year period. Now, the first flight was March 5th, 1936. It was introduced in August of 38. So it saw action during the entirety of the war. In fact, they were only just retired in 1961 by the Irish Air Corps. So they existed for a long time. Now, of course, single-seat aircraft developed from, of course, the racing plane built by Supermarine and R.J. Mitchell. So a fantastic aircraft, and we know so much about it. What about this one particularly? Well, of course, it was one of the earliest variants of the early models, of course, with the 1 and the Mark II, of course, as well. Now, nothing like the later war variants with the clipped wings and the Griffin engines and the bubble canopies that just became so different but so iconically similar. Now, of course, it fought the Luftwaffe and did a huge job during the Battle of Britain. We know about that. And in the package, like I said, we have the 2A, the 1A, the 1, and the LR. So it's 4 models there. We get a bunch of liveries, of course, depicting different squadrons and bases. Now, the aircraft in this package all apparently are on the 100-octane models. So these are the updated ones. They got updated in early 1940 from the 87-octane. So it's basically the Merlin 2 equipped aircraft is what we have in this. And some of them Merlin 3s. Anyway, so obviously we've got the fuel notes there they give us as well. The manual, which you can get on their website. You can't get the manual with the aircraft. It's on Flight Replica's website. So you can find it there. The early models, of course, have a hand pump undercarriage, which you could just click with your gear button. It just simulates having a hand pump, so you don't have to do it 30 times. Useful. Flat position indicator, of course, was removed on the later versions as well. That you'll see once we actually test the aircraft. Obviously not a combat sim, so weapon switches not functional. And it's a marketplace one, so yeah, that's not going to happen. The mirrors are not currently available. Radios are not in this aircraft, so you'll have to use the drop-down ATC screen, so it's not VATSIM compatible, unlike Flight Replica's model, which is, of course, VATSIM compatible and has modern radio options and a tablet and an autopilot. This has none of those. So alternator will only switch a master battery switch, that's a known issue. Otherwise, we have a whole Spitfire. So I'm going to scroll through to our notes here. We'll take a quick look at the outside of the aircraft, and then we will basically go and do some actual running, including our start checks and everything else. So let's go outside here real briefly. And my controller's not turned on, so it'll be a pig if I try and turn it on. Texturing's gorgeous, I'll give them that. Beautiful texturing on the aircraft. Looks very battle-worn and weathered, which is something I really appreciate. Let's look at that leading edge there. That is battered and knackered. Love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Worn, weathered, battle taxi Spitfire. Love it. Looks exactly like we'd expect. Let's go inside. Doesn't end there. Texturing in the cockpit is rather nice. Of course, pull the canopy back. So mirrors there. Doesn't work, of course, unfortunately. Now, side door. Click it once, and we can click it again, and it opens. Now, here's a little bug I discovered early on. You can click to close it. If you try and click here to lock it, it just reopens. Now, if you click here to close it, and click again in the lower spot, it will close. The instructions only say double-click to open, double-click to close. They don't specify where you have to click. So both kind of click spots for closing are down there, opening are up here. So open, open. Technically, if I could reach that part of it, it would do that, but clicking at the bottom is the only thing that closes it. And clicking the bottom only closes. Little idiosyncrasy there. Got some warning icons there. They don't do anything, unfortunately, right now. Got our forced... Oh, that's a coolant radiator flap, which I believe should be forward. But we'll deal with that in a second. Texturing is nice. It does its job. It looks good. We can pull the pin there for the harness release. nothing actually happens. We haven't got a harness to release, unfortunately. We have got our motor gear extension. We'll test that in flight. And we'll check some of the other functions and features here as we go. So sitting alongside that other beautiful Spitfire, I've got 2 of them over there, and a Texan, and a Dakota. We're in a very good stead of aircraft around here at Headcorn. So let's get it going, shall we? So master battery to on. Master battery is there. So, master battery to on. Magnetos to off. Magnetos are set off. Undercarriage is set to down. And we are not indicating down. Why are we not indicating down? That is our master battery down there. And now it's registering as on. Go figure. It's now on. Okay. Undercarriage is down. Check. Undercarriage light is green. Green. Flaps are up. Landing lamps are up. So flaps are up because those are down. You'll see those later. And those gear indicators, I think, got removed on later models as well. Lower fuel tank quantity would be there. It's full. Or it's showing 37 gallons. Perfect. Of course, we have the upper tank, which doesn't actually do anything there. Okay, those are good. Starting engine and warming. Brakes are on. Manual fuel levers are on. Those are set to on by default. It would be nice if they're set to off for a cold start. They're not. So we'll keep that out of the way. Of course, we've got our compass down here with all those various bits and pieces we'd want from that. Okay, landing lights are up. This aircraft is very loud, by the way, you'll find out in a second. So we'll pop the starter open. Mags to on, which are over there. Both on. Now, unfortunately, this one starts really easily. Unlike Flight Replicas, which has some realisms to it in terms of performance, and there is a mount you could actually prime it correctly, this one does not. This one is literally a case of I just press the starter button and we're going. I will say the sounds are great. The sounds are very, very good. I do like the sounds. It sounds throaty and beefy and chonky and like a big Merlin. There's not as much variation as I'd expect in the sound levels in the aircraft between throttle positions, but we'll get to that. So, okay, we are good on start. Let's close that up here. Okay, testing engine. Whilst warming up, we'll exercise the aircrew control, speed control a few times. So, okay, that's looking good. We'll crack the throttle here a little bit. This does actually have auto mixture by default as an aircraft because obviously the real one had an auto mixture type system. Okay. That's looking good. All our temps are fine because there is no real system steps to this aircraft. Mag checks, so we'll just do mag checks. That will be at maximum boost for cruise speeds. The sounds are lovely. Oh god. Yeah, you'd have to have people holding the tail down to do this in real life. That's how you do it. So we'll set it here. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, we don't want to do it too long, of course. Radiator coolant temperatures can drop. So, for takeoff will be drill to memorize is TPM, fuel, flaps, and radiator. TMP, sorry. Trim, elevator 1 division nose down from neutral. Nose down. There we go, that should be good. Mixture is set to rich, fully forward. We are good there. Mixture is full forward. Or it should be. There we go. Mixture full forward. To rich. Pitch is full forward. Fuel, both levels are on. Tank contents has been confirmed. Flaps are up. Radiator shutter is fully opened. That's our radiator flap there. And that's the radiator down there. Let's get ourselves taxied out here, shall we? And go take this old girl for a spin. Now, taxiing the Spitfire can be a little bit leery at times. You've got to find room as well. And she's a big girl. So let's make sure we are clear on the wingtips here. Okay. We'll taxi down to the end of the runway and we'll get this thing in the air in no time. Look at that DAC. More Spitfires, Texans. We've got a Dragon Repeat over there as well in the background. The Dakota here. Love it. I say Dakota because we're in England. We call them Dakotas. Oh god, that's a holding point. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Let's get ourselves lined up here. Door is latched. Canopy's open. Now, the Flight Replicas one does, or Flying Iron does exactly what the real one does in terms of picking up its right main gear. I'm going to hold my controls neutral on takeoff here and see what she does. Nose comes down. Holds pretty neutral. Okay, bit of a pull to the left. Bit of right rudder. I'm neutral on the stick. There's no real pickup. Little bit of pickup. Okay, flying away. Now close this up here. Oh, where's the aircraft? There she is. Oh, there's the gear coming up and down. Missed that because of the angle of my head. Gear transition is quite nice. Simple Spitfire stuff. And there's no pilot. That is because you can select that here by clicking pilot on board, but you can only do that on the ground, not in the air. I'm going to sound like I'm yelling because this thing is exorbitantly loud, and as you'll notice when I throttle back, there's some note change, but not a ton. Not as much as you get in the Flying Iron Spitfire's engine pack, which had a lot more note variation in the engine sound. This one, there's a bit, it's not a ton. There's our airfield. She definitely climbs very quickly. The power and performance feels good. I did note she didn't pull up the right main gear on takeoff roll. That was something unusual. I didn't have to hold my stick over like you do in a real one to keep her from tipping a wingtip onto the ground. Let's give her a bit of a spin here, shall we? Start the field. We'll head back over. Cockpit does look good, I will say. Not clickable there. Not a ton of features in the manual that it expresses, so we just have what we have. But it certainly looks good, and it's a nice early model Spitfire. We don't have any other ones of those. Of course, the Flying Iron is a Mark V, so it's a slightly later one. Not super late, but definitely later. Let's go full power here. Let's say we take a little trip. Roll rate feels a tiny bit sluggish for a Spit. Not much, but a tiny bit. Bit less than I would have expected. Just a tiny bit slow, but not hugely. Whoa, four-wheeler on roll, and I dropped my nose down too much, that's on me. There we go. There's the strip. Let's bring her downwind here, we'll bring her in for an approach, and we'll see how she fares in that regard. I like the aircraft, it feels simpler. I would be quite happy with this if we didn't have the Flying Iron Spitfire. I'd say I'd be pretty happy with this, it's a good Spitfire. But compared to Flying Iron, I'd say it's not. It's not bad. It's a well-made model, pretty model, well-textured. I like the look of it. Very well done in that regard. But, and it's a big J-Lo size butt. Okay, let's check here. For approach and landing. Reduce speed to 140 miles an hour. Which we'll do now. On our downwind. Drill of vital actions, which is U, M, P, and flaps. Undercarriage, mixture, pitch, and flaps. So undercarriage is rich. 140 we're looking for will be down. Prop fully forward, pitch, and flaps. Very standard fare, 140. And flaps down. Indicator comes up. There we go. There's the airfield. Let's maintain our power here. Power on approach of 85 miles an hour for approach. Power off at 90 miles an hour. So power on, 85, 90, power off. So we should be good here. 20 mile an hour crosswind limit. Should be just fine. At low throttle, this engine sound pack is gorgeous. There may not be a ton of variation in the actual throttle progression as you're actually throttling up and down, but sitting along at low, it has that Spitfire warble of the Merlin that is so iconic. Just listen to that thing. Warble, warble, warble. I feel like I want to yell, even though I'm going to turn the engine volume down in the edit. I feel like I want to talk louder over this engine sound, because it is rather nice. We're at 90 there, so a little bit of power on here. Keep my eyes on the tip of the runway, not the threshold. Far end. Power off. Looking for 85. Or 90, sorry. We'll drop into 85, so I'm going to give it a bit of power here. We should be okay for the time being. Listen to that warble. Oh, it's lovely. I'll give them that. The sounds are nice. Just needs more breadth in the actual throttle movement. There we are. Okay, we're power off here. We're coming down, and I'm going to give her the flare in just a second. And flaring. Touchdown. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, hold it level. Not braking yet. Little bit of brakes here. Flaps are coming up. Jolly good show. Bloody lovely, if I do say so myself. Should have done this whole interview, or review like this, actually. Should have put my best received pronunciation on, and we could have reviewed the aircraft exactly like this, in true Royal Air Force fashion. But I didn't. Not sure why, but we didn't. So there is that. And I realise when I do that just how Americanized I've become to sound, which is quite terrifying. Just pop the canopy. So what is my overall impression of this aircraft as we taxi along to parking? I turn my head off here just to stop it from moving around. Without the Flying Iron model available, this would be a wonderful Spitfire. With it, it looks a little bit flaccid. Price difference is not that significant between the two, so if I was going to pick one, I'd pick Flying Iron. If you really must have an early Spitfire, it's not bad. It really isn't bad. If you must have an early one, try and get it turned around here and parked up. Holding one of my brakes. There we are. And we'll kill the mixture. If you must have an early Spitfire, this is a great option for you. If you just want a really good Spitfire, buy the Flying Iron. Because there's more systems depth, there's more function. You have the tablet with both an autopilot holder, if you really need one, that is, of course. If you insist on having something just to hold the controls for you whilst you go to the bathroom. It is a sim after all, and it has some modern functionality that a real Spitfire flying today might have, including a GPS and radios and transponder, so you can use it on VATSIM. This is not VATSIM supported. You could use the in-sim ATC, but you couldn't use it in an online service, for example. So pick wisely. It is an early 40s one. I like this because I do want an early 40s one. It's relevant to some stuff I am personally interested in. For the price, not terrible actually. I'm perfectly happy paying €16 for this on top of the Flying Iron one and having both. So I have Mark 1s, 2s and 5. So it comes down to, it's 9. So it's not 5, it's 9. It's a Mark 9, sorry, from Flying Iron. I've been saying it wrong the entire time. Mark 9. Don't kill me for that one. But either way, it is good. I wouldn't pick it first, but there you go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Tally-ho, toodle pip, tatty bye.